Y'all come on in. How you doing? How you doing? We're giving a few seconds for technical difficulties real quick. What's going on, Hazel? Wait for my guest to pop up. Y'all enjoy the music though. All right. Yes. There she go. No answer from her. Milanda, tried to request again. Echo. Cancel music. Do it. There we go. Okay. Oh. What's going on, ma'am?
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Just trying to get through technical difficulties real quick.
All right. Oh, I love that your backdrop is your kitchen because you're a
Oh yeah.
nutritionist.
Look, I ain't had no choice. Leanne came through ever since pandemic and work from home and everything. Who gonna take over the office? Okay, the person who needs it the most. So I ain't had no choice, man. She said I like the sunlight. Okay, well I guess my office is gone then, but it's fine.
Yeah.
She can have it. She can have it. I'm okay with the kitchen. It's perfect for me.
I mean, it
Everything
makes
happens
sense.
for a reason. It does. It does. It does. I didn't fight. I didn't fight. I can cook and deal with clients and talk to you. So I'm fine. This is open space and opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Here we go. All right. Share it everywhere I need to share. All right, man. We go ahead and get started. Still, we on time, girl. We a minute before, man. Everything good. Shoot. On this pretty day that the sun finally came out. I'm so happy.
Listen.
So happy about it. Okay, so we're gonna get started. This is part 2 of commitment and consistency. Once again, this is I wanted to do this series because I felt like people was really struggling with getting their health goals back on track and everything since the pandemic. Stay at home. It's been real. It's been a real struggle. Even for the professionals, it's been a real struggle. Um, so that's what we wanted to do for the people and everything. Uh, today on this episode, we have certified meditation and yoga instructor, as well as the owner of SoulFlower Wellness, Milanda McGinnis. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good, Shonda.
It's so good
Um,
to see you.
it's good to see you too. We're talking to each other like we're not really good friends. I love it.
Right,
Um,
right, right. You know, like, it's whatever. For the people who don't know us and everything, it's whatever. Um, let's start off. I'm going to start with like the real deal. We try to keep it real here and speak truth and everything. So when it
yeah,
comes to um, commitment and consistency issues, um, name some things you have struggled with when it comes to your health, to your health goals,
absolutely.
really.
Um, I feel like my biggest um areas of inconsistency are my eating habits, really. Um, I don't consider myself a very strong cook. Um, so I'm more of a like if I'm home by myself and I have snacks or if I have like I'm a grazer. Like if I can, like I'll just snack all day long.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I am a vegetarian though, and so I don't eat meat. I do eat fish though, so I guess I'm pescatarian, but I don't eat a lot of fish. But yeah, I definitely feel like the thing that's harder, and I have a sweet tooth. I have a sweet tooth, so I'm consistent with the sweet tooth, right?
Yeah,
uh,
it's easier to get to.
um, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's much easier to get
Yeah.
to sweets, and it has that, you know what I'm saying? Like that. It's kind of like I had something I wasn't supposed to have. Like it's something, you know what I'm saying? There's something about that as opposed to, and I mean, I like me some sauteed broccoli. I love sauteed broccoli actually, but it doesn't have the same like satisfactory feeling as like a cookie. So I don't know. There's
Right.
that. Um, and then secondly, since we've been home, I will say that like my yoga practice is kind of like had its ups and downs too, you know. And I know I'm not the only person. There were some other teachers at my studio that was having problems with it. Just trying to be consistent, getting up, getting on the Zoom because everybody's tired of Zoom, you know. Um, but
Yeah.
also the teachers, we kind of get the last available spot if we are able to go in studio. So it's been, that's been up and down too.
That's what's up. I think like I said, everybody's have at least had one good struggle. Um,
Hmm.
especially since stay at home has been an issue. I honestly think mine's is more exercising. I was just thinking this morning, like, I used to exercise like crazy in my 20s. What happened? It's so hard to get to. Like my eating habit, that's cool. I might slip every now and then, but yeah, definitely exercising for me and trying to get pumped to do some push-ups. Because I don't like
Hmm.
doing
Hmm.
push-ups at all. Yeah, but I know it needs to get done. But that's just something we all something. There's always something we all need to work on. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna we're gonna get through it together. So what motivated you to become certified in meditation and yoga? Which one came first?
Yoga came first, actually. Um, and a lot of teachers that I've met have kind of had a similar situation where um, they would start doing yoga as part of like a fitness kind of journey type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would turn into like a life changing type of it's like because okay, so yoga firstly is 8 limbs, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what people see as yoga is really just an asana practice. It's just the poses, right? So there's the meditation part. There's pranayama, which is your breath work. There's
Mm-hmm.
the deciding to live life a certain way, where you're treating people a certain way, all these different things. And people kind of just sometimes fall into doing the poses first. And I was like that. I was doing the poses first with Jillian Michaels, which we all know that is not real yoga, right? Because everything she does, and I, for what it was what, what I'm saying, it did what it was supposed to do. But then I got really, really deeply entrenched in a yoga practice when I was teaching at a middle school, and it was awful. And doing yoga regularly is what allowed me to um, keep my sanity when dealing with my students and when dealing with administration. Because a lot of times administration is actually harder to deal with than the students.
Oh, yes.
And also, I wanted to be, so I told myself, I'm going to do this practice for a year, but if I feel this good in a year, I'm going to do a yoga teacher training. Because I want everybody to feel like this. And it took me longer than a year because yoga teacher training is really expensive. And I could not find a program that was financially accessible to me. So it took about, I'll say, about 5 years. I practiced for about 5 years before I got my certification. And then I started to get into meditation through the certification process for yoga, but I didn't get my yoga certification until last year. Not last year, the year before, like
2020 messed us up.
January-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Messing up our
like
time.
2019 is when I did my my meditation certification, my first one. I have two now, but yeah. And
That's what's
I
up. And
really wanted to. Hmm?
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I really wanted to be visible as a Black yoga teacher and as a Black meditation teacher, because I felt like particularly in Greensboro, there just wasn't when I went through my training, there might have been maybe three other Black yoga teachers in Greensboro, um, and none of them were actually teaching to the public. Um, at the time, they all were like teaching just at Bennett or just at this place or just at this place. So they weren't really available either. And I was the one that was like, I'm in a rec center in the hood, come through,
Where you
So,
be? Yes, for the people. Yes,
yeah.
completely understand. Yeah, you know what? And it's so crazy because I remember when you were starting your journey um, with yoga, and we
Hmm.
was discussing scholarships and everything like that. So to see you now, like you're doing your thing, and it is a since I've taken a class of yours, it's a big difference. You're right. All the other little yoga programs and YouTube videos, it's not the same compared to your class. You actually learn the poses and the pose names. Because I know I've paused at least one or two times in your class, and you said one of the names. I'm sitting here like, oh, what? Oh, we're supposed to do this. Okay, that's what that's called. Then. So it's a learning experience as well when it comes to your classes and everything. So how can um, how can um, yoga and meditation assist somebody in their overall health?
Oh, yeah. There are so many benefits to regular yoga and regular meditation practice. And I just want to shout out my friends real quick who are
Sure.
watching. Patrice, I see you saying facts on facts. I
Hey,
love you for that.
Patrice.
Hey, Calvin. Hey, Antoinette. So I just want to say hey to the people that like popped up on the screen. But yeah, having a regular practice, and everybody's body is different virtually. So yoga is going to affect everybody's body different, which is great though, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll be able to hopefully feel a difference in maybe your flexibility. Now, this will all depend on how many times a week you do yoga, right? If you do uh,
Consistency.
a 15 to 20 minute yoga class every Monday,
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying, with your YouTube or whatever, it might take you a much longer time to see a difference than if you
Mm,
do that 15 or 20 minutes 3 times a week. But you should, if with regular practice, possibly feel a difference in your sleep. You might sleep better. If you are a person who has periods, you might notice that your cramps are a little gentler. If you're a person that cramps when you have a cycle, you might notice that, or your doctor might tell you your resting heart rate is different. Or
mm-hmm.
you might notice increased lung capacity if you do the breath work that goes with yoga. You might notice your flexibility has increased. You know what I'm saying? You might notice that your strength, particularly your upper body strength, has
Mm.
increased. Um, you might notice a muscle in a place you didn't have a muscle before. And
Right.
that's, that's what your asana practice. And then with meditation, again, you might notice that your stress levels are reduced. You might notice again with meditation that it can also help you sleep better. It can help you be more present. You know what I mean? And also with meditation, you're just going to provide space for you to get to know yourself better. So that's one of the big takeaways for me with meditation, is that I've really just gotten to know myself better. And knowing myself better has allowed me to relate to other people in a different way. Um, and so my relationships with my family and my friends have improved through my yoga and my meditation practice.
Wow. That's a big difference. That's a big
Yeah.
step right there. I know for me, when I started doing meditation, um, I don't know. For me, I was pushed towards meditation because um, stress, absolutely stress from my previous job. It was going through a merger, and I kept going to the doctor about, chest pains and everything. And he was telling me, like, it's stress. It's stress. You need to go on vacation. I'm just like, I can't go on vacation all the time with it. You work in a corporate office. You can't do that when it's just needed. So I had to learn how to get away without getting away. Meditation was absolutely it. And even with yoga, it helped me definitely to sleep better at night.
Hmm.
I wasn't getting any sleep, and that's part of my stress as well. So I see both of those as, I guess, an enhancer. Whatever you're trying to do with your health goal, if you just include meditation and yoga, I feel like it will probably enhance everything else with your health and everything. So how many times do you say someone should meditate or do yoga? Um, I kind of think I know the answer to this one, but go ahead.
I mean, if you wanted to do it every day, no. Oh, but I also know that for some people, like, it's a real challenge to
Hmm.
particularly for Black people, for Black women, it's a real challenge to say, I'm going to carve out 30 minutes for myself to go do a thing, right? So many of us just kind of have all these different tasks. We have all these different people we're taking care of. We feel
Right.
I was listening to Raw Goddess this morning on a podcast, and she said that Black women have mastery of putting ourselves last. And I was just like, hey, that's not really a thing I want to be a master at, is putting myself
Yeah,
last. But I
just
do
choosing.
feel that has been the case. We have always been, the caretakers for other people. Um, and you know, the church has kind of made that seem like it's a godly thing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? To put yourself last and to care for other people first. But you really can't do that from a deficit. Like, you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't give and give and give and give and give, um, and think that things are going to be okay. So I, highly suggest, even if it's 15 minutes of movement, of yoga, in a 5-minute meditation, if you can slide that in every day or every other day, you're going to be so much better off than if you don't do it at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Second best option, once a week, is you being like, okay, this is my time. You know what I mean? Um, I don't, of course, I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, this is my time. And it's really just you deciding to set that boundary. Honestly, that, okay, I have 15 minutes to do this thing for myself. You know what I mean? And I feel very blessed that my mom was the type that, my mom, she, when my mama is ready to work out, she gonna work
Mm-hmm.
out. When she wanna go play tennis, she gonna go play tennis. And if playing tennis meant she packed me and my brother up, packed us a lunch, set us under a tree, and was like, don't move from this spot, don't talk to no strangers, I'm gonna play tennis, that's what she was gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Your
You know
mom's
what I
my
mean?
idol.
And so I
Your mom's
definitely
my
learned that from her. Um,
That's awesome.
to make sure that I was just like, this is my time to do my thing.
Shoot, I hear that. It's good that she took time out like that, and that's why she's the woman she is now. She's absolutely my idol. So, mom, if you're watching, um, so I know for a fact with my clients, I try to push everybody to do meditation down because it's the best thing to do. Even um with people talking about their nutrition, I try to with me, I try to approach things with stress free. Why is my father calling me right now? I'm sorry, y'all.
When you're down.
He gonna call me again. I'm gonna tell you right now, you can hear another buzz. But if my sister's watching, please go, Daddy. I'm doing this. Thank you. Um, so I try to approach my clients with stress free methods when it comes to their eating habits too, because a lot of people, you know, most of our issues, our illnesses that we have, is stress related. So I do push them to do meditation. However, a lot of my clients feel like they just cannot get their mind to stop. They feel like they don't have enough time in the day, not even like a minute or two, to even incorporate it in it. They don't think they can just close your eyes and think of, and it's not even think of nothing, but close your eyes and just quiet your thoughts for a minute. So what tips can you give somebody who is trying to start incorporating meditation?
Oh yeah, okay. So there are a lot of people that feel, I'm a Virgo. I'm a textbook and classic and well trained overthinker. Okay. And and I also cannot get my mind to stop, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, that's where a lot of people get when meditation and what it is incorrect. You're not trying to get your mind to stop, right? You are, if you have 37 tabs open, you are trying to pause the tabs. You're not trying to stop the tabs. You don't have to close the tabs. You just need to pause them,
Got
right?
you. Got you. That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
maybe, right, you know what I'm saying? And have, if I was going to tell somebody to take 2 minutes, I would tell someone to, whether they're in their office, if it's in their car before they get out and go in the house, to their spouse or their kids or their fish or whoever, I would tell them to sit in their car and say, I am breathing in, I am breathing out, and match that to their inhales and their exhales. Set a timer on your phone for 2 minutes and do that. That's what I would tell someone to do if they were just like, I can't meditate, I can't sit still, I can't, just, if you have an anchor, which is whatever you're going to focus your mind on, instead of, I need to get this from the grocery store, I need to get my mama birthday card, I need to make sure I paid the Duke bill, I need to water these 16 plants. Like, instead of saying all those things, if you for 2 minutes can say, I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out, that is the beginning of your meditation practice. And if you want to increase that 2 minutes to 5 minutes, or if you want to increase, you know what I mean? Do I think
Mhm.
that a person should sit down and try to meditate for 10 minutes on their first go? No, I don't. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think you're setting yourself up for failure if you try to go for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. The way our society is set up and the way we're taking in information so
Mhm.
quickly, no, no,
Right.
don't do that.
I feel the
And
same
don't,
way. I feel like we end up I don't know. We start something and then we start strong instead of gently making that move. And we want to do everything. We want to master um 30 minutes. We got stuff to do, Just be gentle to yourself. That was really good. I told you. I told you. I told you. Anyway, sorry about that, y'all.
but yeah, I would, that's my suggestion is a 2 minute breath centered meditation.
Breathe in, breathe out. I hope everybody heard that.
I
Breathe
am
in,
breathing
breathe out.
in, I am breathing out. Yeah.
Yes, in your car, because I swear that's the comfort zone. I don't know why.
Listen,
That's the
it's not
comfort
even
zone.
nothing in my apartment right now that is stressful, but I still sit in my car before
So
when I
comfortable.
get home from
Become
wherever
comfortable.
I'm in. And then I get out and come in. So it don't like I can't even imagine if it was somebody in the house that was gonna be like, Mama, Mama, Mama. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even have that situation. So I can't even
Right.
imagine. I would sit in my car forever. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing in my apartment right now but some plants, and they can't talk to me. And I still sit in the car. So
I'm the
you know what I'm
same
saying?
way. I'm the same way. Like, sitting in the car was my safe haven at work. You know what I'm saying? I need to go there and take a nap, put my timer on, and keep it pushing. So if anybody has ever sat in the car, put your timer on to take a nap, then you can put your timer on to do 2 minute meditation. Okay?
Yep.
Because that timer was for at least 10 minutes because you had to be in 15 minutes, so you need 5 minutes to walk. You know,
Yep.
I, it's possible. So I know we're coming up on like we'll call it New Year's. We call it the real New Year's around here because we understand that spring is actually the real New Year's. And around this time, that's when people have their attempt number two
Hmm.
to start working out and to get in shape. And honestly, I don't think anybody did New Year resolutions this January. I don't see it. I don't think anybody did it. I think everybody said Happy New Year's and probably ate some chips or something. We were just completely off in 2020. What advice can you give someone who feels like they're not in shape enough to do yoga? Because sometimes we feel like we have to be in a particular fit category just to start something new.
Yeah. I would say that all the yoga gurus say that yoga meets you where you are. And I think that's
Say it one more
absolute
time.
yoga meets you where you are.
Mm,
And I think that's so true because you really don't need anything to have an asana practice, right? If you have a floor, you can have an asana practice. Um, and I mean, you might want some more cushion, get your mat, get your block, that kind of thing. Um, but I would say to just try it. I literally like if you wherever if you're trying to touch your toes with your legs straight and you can't touch your toes, bend your knees.
simple. Makes sense.
If you if
Makes sense.
you are trying to in triangle pose, for example, that's one that you see on the front of yoga magazines a lot. If you're trying to touch the floor and your hand doesn't touch the floor, stack it up on some books. Stack some books up. Put your hand on the book
Okay.
or buy a block from TJ Maxx or Five Below.
Right.
Put your hand on the block. And I say that because it's going to bring the floor up to you You know what I mean? As opposed to like you straining and doing all these things. Yoga can be strenuous. Yoga can be challenging. Yoga should not hurt. And I sometimes feel that people have gotten this mindset that um like they don't know the difference between painful and like sore, you know what I'm saying, or discomfort. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference. If you're in pain, like there's something wrong, there's something out of alignment, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you are experiencing discomfort, is it just sensation? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling a new muscle you haven't played with in a while? Is it your ego? Are you feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough? You know what I'm saying? Like what story is coming up? Because there's a difference. There's a straight up difference between I'm in pain, this needs to stop, my muscles do not like this, and I'm using a muscle that I have not used in a while in a new way, and I'm unsure, and I don't want to look silly in front of other people, so I want to stop. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I would
Yeah.
say if you want to start a new yoga practice, you don't have to touch your toes. There's no award for that. You know what I mean? They don't hand out no certificates because you touched your toes in class. Bend your
You right.
knees.
You right.
Bring the
And
floor to you. Get a yoga strap.
a
You
yoga
know what I'm
strap.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's literally a long piece of fabric. You can use a tie. When I taught in the hood, I couldn't afford to buy straps for everybody. I literally went to the Goodwill and bought a bunch of ties, and they work the exact same way.
Okay.
They're the same.
Okay. I know the one thing that you informed me that I needed when I took your class was some yoga socks. And that helped tremendously for the people that slip and slide a little too
Yeah.
much. The yoga socks were really great, great advice. Um, yeah, that worked. You know how I am. Everybody don't know how I am, but I'll take them in class. You know how I feel about yoga. Um, not too keen, but I understand the importance that it takes in my life. That it worked very well. Once you do it, um, and like you said, you don't have to do it quite often. Once you start doing it, you realize you haven't stretched that muscle in a long time, and dang, I didn't even know I can move this way just to get to that hip muscle that I've been trying to stretch the wrong way. Okay, so yoga helps that out a lot, and I'm getting the hang of it. I used to complain that I break my toe twice, break my knee twice every time. I still do, but I had to learn to do the moves my way. You don't have to really do it how everybody else is doing it. Do the moves your way. And if you feel like you really can't do that move at that time, just do a little stretch that you know you can do until the next pose. Just
Yeah.
you don't always have to say no to the pose, but eventually get there. So that's how I get through with yoga. And
Yeah.
yeah, my consistency with yoga is horrible right about now. So I'm gonna get back on it just for you. We'll get back on it. Um, and
Don't get back
I
on it for
understand
me.
you
This
have a
this about you.
it's about okay,
Like
yes,
don't
ma'am, yes,
don't don't
ma'am. Don't worry.
don't get consistent for me. Get
I
consistent
won't
for
make you
you. You know
proud.
what I'm saying?
I won't make you proud,
Yeah.
okay? So I don't be like you don't have to be like I broke something twice anymore. You know what I'm saying? I want to be proud. Um, so word on the street is that you got an ebook. You have an
Yes.
ebook. Okay.
I
What's it
do.
about?
I do have an ebook, and the ebook is like a journey to mindfulness, basically. And it is a guide to what are some tips for someone who is trying to lose weight doing yoga. I will give me just a second, Siobhan, I'll get to that. Um, so it's a guide to mindfulness using your five senses. Um, and I think that some of your clients might love it because it does have a section about mindful eating.
Yes.
and intentional eating, and taking your time to eat, not eating in front of Netflix if you can help it. Like it has helpful tools and tips um, to live a more mindful life, to get present, to if you don't feel like you're the starring role in your life, if you feel like you're a backup
Mm-hmm.
character or you're watching your life from the outside, being mindful and being
Mm-hmm.
present is
Mm-hmm.
gonna put you back in that starring role. It's the easiest way to put it.
Y'all better get this book. Somebody feel that way. Somebody, y'all better get this book.
Listen, and my mama said the book. She said she proud of the book. So if my mama liked the book, y'all need to get the book.
Okay,
Um,
that's a good
and it's
book.
$11.11, right? And that, that's to me, it's you're going to get your value from it. So I highly suggest checking it out for sure.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. And it's so crazy because I've just started teaching my dad mindfulness.
Mm,
Okay. Because I'm like, dude, you got to get your eating habits under control just a little bit more. And, it's the first time he's like, I've never heard of mindfulness. I just told him to slow down, look at your food and enjoy the taste and figure out the texture and just, you don't have to ramble through your food and everything. I feel like he still got military in his blood,
yeah.
and so I'm like, you 72, slow down, So mindfulness is a very good thing to learn and to practice. Um, but let's get back to this question Siobhan had about tips for someone who is trying to lose weight doing yoga.
So my tip would be with that, if you're doing an asana practice, you're gonna have to be really consistent with it. So once a week is not, you can't do cardio once a week and think that something's gonna pop.
Very
Um,
true.
and you can't do, I don't know, you can't eat a salad once a week and think that something's gonna pop. And asana practice is the same way. You're gonna have to be consistent with it. You are going to, okay. Oh, that's a good question, Tiffany. Thank you, baby. Um, you're going to want to consider how often, firstly, you do the yoga, where, or not necessarily where, but like what type of yoga you're doing. If you're doing restorative yoga, the purpose of restorative yoga is particularly for people who do not rest. So you're going to have a bunch of props and blocks and blankets to lay down. Restorative yoga is not going to be your strength building yoga because you're, lying down. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
gotcha. That makes sense.
Um,
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yin yoga is going to be a yoga practice where you do longer holds of things, but it's gonna be a lot of forward folds, a lot of hip openers, that kind of thing. Now, do I think that that will complement if you decided to do maybe hatha yoga where you're flowing a little bit more? It's just slower, right? So it's more flowing from pose to pose to pose, just a little
Right.
slower than a vinyasa. But your yin yoga, you're going to hold things longer. You will feel that in your tissues because you might hold a stretch that you would normally hold for 10 breaths in a vinyasa class. You might hold it for 3 minutes in a yin class. So there, does that make sense? You're going to see a difference like that. But if you take a vinyasa or a power class, your inhale, you're one place, your exhale, you're another place. It's constant moving, and that's the one where you're gonna see more rapid possibility for change. But I think the piece to me that makes the difference is that your mindset will start to change. Your
Mm.
body is going to want different things. It's going to want it's going to want you to make different choices. Because that's what I noticed first. Once I started doing a lot of yoga, I started to make different choices. I don't know if I would have given up beef, you know what I mean, or
Right.
pork or McDonald's sweet teas. If because I really really I was really digging them for a while when the McDonald's had them sweet teas.
Yeah, boy.
Listen, and they was $1 or $2 or whatever. I was drinking them things like they was water. I
Right.
really, really was.
Liquid crack, for real. Like,
Yeah. And I got deeper into a yoga practice. I gave them up for Lent just to see if I could. I haven't had sweet tea in probably 8 years. I made different choices. So
yes, ma'am.
that is a byproduct, I think. So
And the
yeah.
clarity you get, I know you talk about choices and everything. You make different choices when you incorporate yoga and meditation too. But the clarity that you get after stretching a little bit and just relaxing your mind, you start putting everything in order. I tell people a lot of times you can tell that somebody got so much on their mind. Their environment defines what's on their mind, and vice versa. If you have a cluttered head, most of the times your area where you're at most of the day is cluttered. And once you start incorporating these good habits, it kind of clears it out. You start seeing it. You start putting stuff away, but you also start all those tabs that's open in your head, you kind of start putting them in order of high priorities and when you can get to
Hmm.
them and everything. So I love the move. I love just making an attempt to put those in your daily life can really make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Yoga and meditation are not called healing modalities just because, you know what I mean? Like they actually like they work. And that's why
They
people keep
work.
going back to trying these things. They keep going back to them and going back to them, back to them. Tiffany asked, I don't know if I can still see the question. D, can you see
You might have to control it.
similar to variants of ballet like hiplet or hiplay, what are the dangers and advantages of variant yoga such as trap yoga? Is it expanding the audience or bastardizing it? And I think that's an excellent question. Oh, you're welcome, Siobhan. Um, I think that that's an excellent question because I was exposed to yoga. I mean, I'd heard of it, you know what I mean? And I'd actually taken it with this other person, with one of my old dance teachers, and I hated it. You know what I'm saying? Because she had a, y'all are dancers, you should be able to do this mentality. And I, ma'am. But then I
Okay.
tried it with somebody else, and she just had a much more holistic and welcoming approach to it, and I loved it. You know what I mean? And also, like I said, I was doing it with Jillian Michaels, and it was, you know, greatest loser style or what biggest loser style, and I was just like, this is not really, you know what I mean? It's not really a thing. I think that respecting where yoga comes from. You know what I'm saying? Because there's two
Mhm.
different, there's two, I don't want to say schools of thought, but there's two historical references to yoga. You have the Egyptian yoga or Kemetic yoga, which has African base, which is African based, and you have Indian yoga, which obviously is
Right.
from India, and they're
Mm-hmm.
they're very different types of postures. Kemetic yoga is based on hieroglyphics, and the drawings that you would see in tombs and that kind of thing. And then Indian yoga, has been passed down. Like they're still practicing it in various ways.
Right.
Um, and you're not really going to get a pure version of either unless unless you found a really, really particular teacher. Um,
Like you.
it's probably well, actually, I do Baptiste yoga, and the lineage of Baptiste yoga is very, I don't want to say it's a hodgepodge, but Baron Baptiste took, because his parents were yogis in the 60s and 70s, and they studied a lot in India. Um, and he took what he thought was the most important parts of different types of yoga or different
Right.
types of asana practice and created his. Um, I won't necessarily say that that doing different types of yoga bastardizes the practice. I don't necessarily want to say that. I will say that I believe that it makes it accessible for people to come into the practice. I don't necessarily know if there's a danger of like, oh, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it right, you're doing it, I don't know if that's necessarily there. I have taken one trap yoga class,
Uh-huh.
and it was fun. It was definitely fun. It was hatha style, so there was like a pose, and then we did another pose, and then we did another pose, and it was just to trap music, right? And there are some purists that are just like, there's no music in yoga at all. There's just breath. And then there are people that are just like, play the harp or whatever, you know what I mean? Or play like the instruments I can't name right now. When I started doing yoga at home by myself, I would just make a soundtrack. Some days it's Rick Ross, some days it's Aaliyah, some days it's Lynn Price. You don't know what you're gonna get with me. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm not sure if that's important or not. If you want me to be honest, I almost feel like you listening to what your body and what it needs is more important than if you're doing, because they have horse yoga where you do yoga on the back of the horse. That I'm not a fan of, because the horse didn't ask for that. Yeah.
The horse did not ask for
Yeah,
that.
you know what I'm saying? So that I was like,
I've
baby, the horse
seen
didn't
goat
ask for that.
yoga.
I don't know about all that. There is goat yoga, which I feel
I've
like,
seen goat yoga. That's okay. That's yeah. We're so creative.
is that you using the word creative loose in the mud, okay? Loose. Uh, and the
Someone here with
idea,
it. Yes.
there's going to be people just like yoga and mimosas, and there's going to be people that's like, yoga and cannabis, and there's going to be people that's like yoga, puppy yoga and all this. I tried that with Mocha, and she was like, girl, this is for the birds, okay? She was not with it. But will I say like, don't ever do that? No, I won't. And the reason I say that is because if you are led to try yoga and you really start to feel an affinity for what it does for your body and what it does for your mind, you might not want those other things. You might want to say, well, I have tried yoga with the goat. Let me just try it by myself and see what
Mhm.
happens, because you don't always have access to a goat, right?
Right.
Well, no, you might. You might have regular access to a goat. I don't know your life,
It might put
but
somebody to buy a goat. You never know. Yeah. Oh, it
fam,
did go. No,
it,
everyone. They
fam,
cute. They cute.
focus, focus. But yeah, like I just, if it leads you to try it, you know what I'm saying, and to experience something new, and then you say, "Oh, let me try it without that. Let me try it just with a YouTube video, see what happens."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That works. That
Yeah.
works.
I think and you know what, Dee, when you earlier you said something about how like I would say the name of the pose and all these different things. One of the ways that we respect the lineage of yoga is to actually use the Sanskrit words for things. You know what I mean? Instead of being like, oh, for example, these are you know, not cornrows, but like what these are boxer braids, right?
okay.
If it's instead of whatever magazine being like, yeah, girl, I got my boxer braids. No, bro,
Mhm.
them is regular cornrows, okay? And
Different.
don't be
It's the
calling my
different.
hair something else, right?
Right.
So it's the
Right.
it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it is down dog, but it's also, you know what
Uh-huh.
I'm saying? Well, not Urdhva, but Ardhva Dhanurasana, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like,
Uh-huh.
try to know the lineage and the language of what it is that you're up to.
And that's
If
what I
it's
love about your
jambalaya,
class.
don't call us too.
That's what I love about your class. You're gonna learn. I'm a bookworm. I love learning something new every day. So when I take your class, I know for sure I'm gonna learn some poses. I'm gonna learn the names. If you don't have a yoga instructor that know the various yoga practices, you with the wrong yoga class. Y'all better get with Milanda. You just heard her spit about 3 or 4 different yoga yoga practices right at you. Within this within this episode. Man, I learned a lot today. Okay. And I'm
Well,
pretty
I'm
sure
glad.
somebody else, I'm pretty sure somebody out there was like, I thought yoga was just the yoga. And no, it's a variety of yoga out there. And I suggest y'all go and figure out which one works for you. Um, Somebody probably definitely really want to do that trap yoga. I'm down with that. I'm down with that too. I love trap music. Trap
I mean,
music
it's fun.
motivates me,
It's
but it's
fun.
also awesome to learn the actual culture and the actual history and do it yeah, for the culture. Like I said, it's absolutely, man, yeah, that was good. That was good. So which one you prefer? I know a lot of people like to do morning yoga. Some people like to do bedtime yoga. Which one works with you the most?
I like morning yoga the most. I was off courtesy of the pandemic for the entire month of January.
Mm-hmm.
I was only teaching yoga um, because my Winston-Salem State wasn't open and Dance Project weren't open. And I really created my morning routine, my morning ritual to be, I would get up, listen to 15 minutes affirmations on YouTube, and then 45-minute to an hour long yoga practice, followed by meditation. And then I would pull an affirmation card for myself and drink a glass of water. And I was doing that literally every day. And so I really like to do my yoga in the morning because sometimes I realize like if I leave it till the evening, like it just doesn't get done. Right. So I was prioritizing it and moving it to the morning. I recognize that everybody doesn't have 45 minutes or an hour every, Monday through Friday to do yoga in their home or whatever. And there are also certain poses that I'm just like, yo, these are perfect for when you're getting into bed. Do this, right?
Okay.
Do a twist, do a supine twist to relax your nerves, right? To relax your sympathetic nervous system. Um, First thing in the morning, do a supine twist, do the same one to help wake up and lubricate your spine. You know what I'm saying? Like the creators of yoga be like, listen, you're only as young as your spine. The spine moves 6 ways. You need to bend your spine in all those 6 ways to
Wow.
get the full benefits. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna go front and back, and then side to side, and you can twist it. You need to do all of those to keep your
Okay.
spine young. You know what I mean? And in turn, you'll keep yourself young. Um, so yeah, I'm a big. I
Keep us
prefer.
young. Keep us young like you. Keep us young like you.
Yes.
Okay, girl.
But I personally prefer a morning practice. But then there are some times when I'm just, an evening practice also can be really relaxing if you have the time for it. So, yeah.
I think I dig bedtime yoga more than anything. Like I said, I've always had issues going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
My whole family is night owl. Okay, so we
Mm.
all have issues going to sleep. But when I do bedtime yoga, when I tell you night afterwards, I have literally fell asleep on the mat. Okay, and woke up probably about an hour or two later. me and my, me and Leanne literally woke up 2 hours later, like, dang, I didn't even know. Let's go and just hop in bed real quick and have
Yeah.
a sleep, like well rested sleep, like didn't move an inch. Once I closed my eyes, I opened my eyes, I'm in the same position. Good rest. Okay, just a
Because you
beautiful
relaxed your body. Yeah.
right. Stretched everything out. I took all the stress out my back. My stress is always like up top. It stays in my back. When I'm stressed out, I can feel my back muscles squeezing. So
Mm-hmm.
I try my best to do bedtime yoga, but try to angle it for back. And
Your
that's
shoulders
something
and upper
that
back. Yeah.
yeah, that's something else that can also be pinpointed for everybody who's watching. You can find some type of whatever yoga you need, wherever you need to stretch. There's yoga for that. You can just simply just look it up
Absolutely.
and there's hip yoga, there's yoga for your legs, that it's nameless, it's countless. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta look it up and figure out which one works for you. And I
And
absolutely
D is saying all the things. She's telling all the truth. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
you're
Because
telling all the truth.
thank you.
Mhm. And I
I
would
thought you were gonna say
say,
but.
no, I would say to really look like Dee is saying, her stress lives here. To really look at the places that are tight on your body because they correspond to different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yes.
So, when you have stress in your shoulders, you feel like you're carrying heavy burdens, right? And sometimes the burden of family can be on your left shoulder, whereas
Mm-hmm.
like work or career related burdens can cause stress to your right shoulder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your sadness or disappointment emotions live in your hips. So there are some people that hate hip openers, and that's why, because your having a regular asana practice is going to low key force you to look at your body in a different way. It will give you a relationship to your body in a different way. But in
That
order for you
acknowledgement.
to,
Yes.
yeah, so you acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And in order for
It's
you to
been
heal those
fixing.
things, you got to feel them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You right.
yeah.
You up here dropping gems today. Okay. I hope we change somebody's perspective today on yoga and meditation. Um, good people. Honestly, we actually kind of behind our time.
Yep.
we kind of it looks like we can talk about this for a very long time. Unfortunately, we got some things to get done. Um, Milanda, thank you so much for dropping in. Is there anything else you want the people to know real quick before we get off of here?
Yeah. So with SoulFlower Wellness, what I really want is to create a platform for particularly women of color, Black women, to have a safe space to, put down whatever they need to put down, to come into a greater understanding with their bodies, with their minds, with their spirit, work with their emotional health, work with their physical and mental health, and even like your spiritual health. I'm not saying that like, I'm a church or anything. Do I believe that getting more in touch with who you really are on the inside opens up like, your Godhead? Yes, I do believe that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
um, particularly like if you're in the Greensboro area, I teach fun stuff like aerial yoga. If you ever want to come hang upside down with me at Dancing Dogs Yoga, I teach hot yoga. If you ever want to come sweat in the heat and play with a whole nother type of discipline.
Wow.
But you can also just find me online, www.soulflowerwellnessnc.com. I'm on Instagram, soulflower_wellness. I'm on Facebook at SoulFlower Wellness. So I'm available as a private yoga instructor. I do private meditations. Um, I'm really here to help Black women live a more intentional life
Mm-hmm.
through yoga, through meditation, and through inquiry work and setting intention. So if you're looking for
Awesome.
that, please come and see me.
Awesome. Awesome. And y'all will make sure that we put Milanda's information, Soulflower Wellness information down in the comments so you can get in contact and see what she can help you with. She is really excellent. I have it's been a pleasure to be in participate in her classes. I've done meditation with her several times. Man, it gets deep and then she brings it right back out. It's very relaxing. I love it so much. Love you so much, Melinda. Um, if that's all you need to be said, good people, we got some affirmations
Oh,
to
cop the
say
ebook.
before we leave. Oh
Cop
yeah,
the
the ebook.
ebook. Journey to
The ebook.
Mindfulness.
Make
It's
sure you get
on my
the ebook.
website. Get the ebook. Journey to Mindfulness.
Ebook.
Yes.
We will plug that in the comments too. I promise you, honey. Ebook. Get the ebook, y'all. All right, good people, we gotta get off of here. But before we leave, we gotta do our affirmations. Okay, so repeat after me. I am healthy.
I am healthy.
I am committed to myself.
I am committed to myself.
I enjoy improving myself.
I enjoy improving myself.
My health is my wealth.
My health is my wealth.
I am wealthy.
I am wealthy.
Awesome, awesome. Once again, thank you so much. And we will put your stuff down in the comments and y'all check us out. And
Thank you
next
so
time,
much, Dee.
absolutely, absolutely. Peace.
Peace.